prison formations in Nigeria. You know, now put their things on the internet, all about physical presence in classes. And so some of these prisoners enrolled and they studied different courses. And today, some of them are graduates of different areas of vocation in academics. So that tells you that not everything that is in the prison is a complete waste. And so that's why this morning we want to look at the turnaround of criminally intended people into useful societal values. That's what we're looking at this morning. I guess it's a couple of minutes, much in the course of the program today. But I want us to look at what happens to people in prisons or at prison formations across Nigeria. What about their mental life, spiritual life, even physical life? You can only be told that system. And that is why we have brought someone who has been part of that to come and let us know the value of life and what we can achieve even after being taken to that solitary confinement by the law. It is lawful for one to go to prison when one has broken the law. It is equally lawful for prison to transform you positively. It is lawful for anyone who has gone to prison to come back to society and transform it. After all, there are several big men who have had this case in the course of their lifestyle. Don't forget that Dr. Nelson Mandela spent 27 active years behind the bars in South Africa. Initially, he was taken to Robben Island, where he was forced to crack rocks. And that eventually led to his death in 2013 when he had this, it was cancer of the lungs that eventually killed Dr. Nelson Mandela. And medical experts told us that the dust that emanates from cracking of the rocks into his nursery and into his ears led to the combustion of his lungs, and then eventually the old man died at over 90 thereabouts. Several other leaders have been pushed to the wall to attain this experience. And so at the end of the day, they came back and turned to a new leaf. Some become bigger persons in life, even after the prison experience. So not everybody that goes to the prison is going to end up mysteriously. Or this morning we are taking a look at prisons reforms and rehabilitation in Nigeria. That's our focus of discourse this morning. What do you think we should do as a people, as a group of people, to those who are in that particular state of life? What should we be doing for them? What is the purpose of prisons in the life of a convict? Is the prisons really the place of reformation for convicts? What is the state of prisons in Nigeria? How often do our religion leaders visit and talk to them biblically or Islamically, reading the Quran, reading the Bible, to teach them? How often do we do that to those who are in the correctional centers? Because we are just trying to take care of ourselves by calling prisons correctional centers. How correctional is the prison service?
Nigerians.
You are shocked I got your food.
It surprises me.
And
You get it all.
It shouldn't surprise you because you are in the media house.
Definitely.
And part of what media people do is to do investigation. And part of the investigation is that your mother has a serious positive effect into your life.
Exactly.
What is the link between you and that old woman? Tell us. Let's start from there.
I think I am lucky to have had a mother like my mother, Oluwaremilekun. Mother, a true mother.
Mm.
Because anybody that can win his child out of drug, crime, and still live to see the beginning of the glory that are becoming or are becoming. She is a loving mother. She never discriminates. And even when she wants to con me, because she doesn't play with it, she makes sure that she disciplines me, even with the love.
She asked for you.
She will tell me, I love you, Kayode.
Is it because you are the only son?
I'm not, yes, I'm the last son. My mother has problem on childbearing.
Okay.
But I accidentally become her last son.
Surviving.
Surviving.
Okay. Now, when we look at all this, because it's like I want to be educated this morning with your life story. I understand when you were in the world, before you became in the spirit now, that you were a member of the gang of Ishola Oyenusi. They probably call him Dr. Ishola, who was arrested, and you were arrested alongside with him in 1971. Got convicted into got converted into Christianity while serving a 10-year jail term. And you became an activist in prison reforms in Nigeria. I don't want to go into all the details, but is it true that the gang gave you £15,000 to go and to get changed because the money was the money was a proceed of the operation? Then they were going short on the money which could not be spent, and then a banker was living in your compound, and you approached him, go and do good, and you took the entire money back to the gang, and now said, "Oh, this is a trustworthy person." What is the position of this?
Well, I will first of all quickly correct the issue of being a member of Dr. Shola Oyenusi.
Okay.
I wasn't their member.
Okay.
They are my boss.
Bosses.
They are my bosses. They trained me. I was so young as at that time. I was 16 years old.
16. Oh.
So for me to have had the privilege, whether negative or positive, to be in that gang is a different story. The real story, I'm not their member. They trained me, and because of aggressively arrested them, they did not live long.
Were they always dead?
They were executed.
Oh.
So it was the vacuum that brought me up. When they left the stage, they had trained me. And the issue you mentioned, which is a different issue completely, of 15,000 pounds.
Yes.
I don't know where you get that story, but it is real.
It is true.
It is true.
And you returned the changed money completely to the
because the money was not given to me by the armed robbers. It was given to me through one of their, because they used to be very careful. So they have agents whom they will use.
Okay.
So that one knows that I am now in their training school, smoking Indian hemp. I've not joined the gang. Then. So he now said, these are money that bullets has penetrated into. Can I go and look for a way to change it? And I quickly recovered that one of our house tenants works in the bank. So I went to him and I gave it to him. He said he's going to remove 2,000.
No problem.
And I have no excuse. Because the bullet
penetrated part of the money
and has perforated the currencies.
Okay.
So he changed it for us and he gave it back to me. So I felt the only thing I can do, even though they don't expect me to bring it back, because they thought that money is wasted. So I brought it back because the incorporated value of life that has been in me through my mother and parents. You know, in those days, it's not easy for any young man to be a thief.
There's a serious fear for the
No,
parents.
you don't just go. So for me, it is accidental. For me to be in that group, I think destiny has issue to do with me.
You may not even know.
I don't.
Maybe that singular act of returning the money God used to touch you positively and take you away, so that you escape death.
I returned it, and they gave it back to me.
Again?
Yes, it was not. They did not take. They don't believe I. They don't need it. They've shared. They have went into robbery. I don't know the robbery where they went to. I just saw them were washing guns later. They were washing off the blood stain and so on. So many things was going on. So I couldn't understand. It was just like a magic.
Okay, let's now come back to the topic of today: prison reforms in Nigeria and rehabilitation. I can only ask someone who had experienced you, sir. What is the purpose of prisons in the life of any country?
The purpose, as per government's
According
plan,
to
is to get the prisoner returned for a better future. But we have missed it.
why?
Because when you say reform and rehabilitation, reform means to rebuild that individual so that he can become useful and productive to the society. We miss it from the prison. Because when you are reforming somebody, you must be sure. You must mentor and monitor him to know whether he is fit to go back into society. But all we focus on is the punitive measure of imprisonment. We send him to 20 years.
With hard labor.
With hard labor. And what is the hard labor? What will be the hard labor in the prison?
With no option of fine.
20 years, 30 years, 100 years. And that is punitive. It's not correctional. It makes a man to begin to see himself as never to do well again.
So invariably, with what you have seen, with what we are doing in this country, you don't see prison as a place of reformation for convict.
It is not. Reformation is to make sure. Tell me how many prisoners you can lay your hand, or the federal government can announce today that has been successfully produced after imprisonment to be an employee of the federal government. Even the federal government will tell you that if you have been convicted, you cannot. It is gazetted. It is in the federal government gazette.
Sure.
You cannot come out of prison to work in the federal system. So if that is the law, where is the reformation?
So the law contradicts itself.
Definitely. And so you mentioned rehabilitation that follows reformation.
Yes.
If you reform somebody, you will need to take a step further to get him rehabilitated. What is rehabilitation? It's to provide a shelter.
Do we do that?
How would they do it? We don't have the accommodation. We do, but we are wasteful. I've made my life to be so easy in going to all abandoned housing projects that in Nigeria, not only in Lagos, not only in Abeokuta, not only throughout the 36 states of the Federation. I have traveled even with Baba Oba. I took Baba Oba Adelakwadu Teju. We traveled together. Baba did not go by air. We went by road. For 2 weeks, we were traveling through Nigeria, looking for different things and visiting different prisons. And we discovered that if a prisoner happens to leave the prison today, the next step is rehabilitation. But they will open the door of the prison gate wide and ask him to go to where? Somebody who was sentenced to 40 years, he has lost contact with his family. Now you ask him go
to where?
To where? So that gives me concern because I was in the prison. So I know these people, after some days or weeks, they come back to the prison. This is medicine. Because nobody takes care of their shelter. Now, that led us into number 3. Number 3 is reintegration.
Back to the society.
Into the society. There must be a bridge. They must come back. We must make them to be fitted back. I am talking to you today. Everybody is celebrating God in my life today. If God did not divinely intervene, who knows what would have happened to me? Some people reintegrated me. The final course, which is the fourth R, is resettlement. Making sure that this man is married, this woman is married, is producing children, is working, is productive, is living a life that is full of attitude that are valuable. But that is missing. So that led us with Baba Afe Babalola, because I look at the people that I can address in the society that can give me their shoulder to lean upon, because my character is not what anybody wants to welcome by my imprisonment. So I went to them and explained to them that they have problem. Now, those problem of those, I'm getting old now.
Surely, you're over 70.
I'm over 70 now. I'm 71 this year. So, and that is getting my boarding pass. But before I go, will my life be wasted with all that I've acquired to make sure that I can use my experience to guide, to lead, to make the prison officers to understand the purpose of their work? Because they believe that the prison is, they gave me key to lock this prisoner and to open him. That is all. They will disagree with me, because nobody will want anybody to say what he's doing is not. But let them use the proof of evidence to convince the nation. And all of them, I will ask the Comptroller General. I do talk to all of them. What is happening?
We need to look at the mental state, the spiritual state. How often do, apart from you now, religion leaders, maybe Christianity or Islam, visit, talk to these people, preach to these people, give them life assurances words?
Oh, that one is free
of charge.
Muslim goes there, Christian goes there, but people goes there to go and sympathize, to see how prisoners look like. They don't have any power, even if they preach to them. You can't force somebody to accept your religion. Preaching religion is not the most useful thing to the prisoners.
What do they want?
You need to reform them. Because if the attitude of prisoner, you try to win him out, oh, come to our mosque, we will give you money to be eating. In few days' time, they will steal the property of the person who took them home. Because the real thing
has not been changed.
The Adamic nature, the real man, the crime, the criminality in him still remain intact. He still smoke.
Even in the prison.
Well, I don't want whether they like it, but they smoke now. They sell it there. They use phone, but they will tell you it's not possible. Prisoner don't, because they believe and they know me. I won't tell lies because I was there for 10 years. And I know there are people that are using phone. There are so many other things that is happening. But that is not the only area. If we are going to all those areas, we are only looking at the negative or negativity of the problem.
The positives.
The positive side. Well, myself, Chief Afe Babalola, Are Afe Babalola, Baba, who is the chairman, board of trustee of this organization to be Prison Rehabilitation Mission. Obadeda Kwadewale Tejuosho, Baba, who is the chairman, Governing Council today. Honorable Justice Shobola, retired, who is the Secretary General. And Baba Obasanjo is our grand patron today. Because Baba too has been a student of that school too. Baba go to prison, he came out, he became president. I was in prison. So Baba know all the lungus, all the corners, all the gumbombo with the prison. You can't deceive Baba Obasanjo with it. And thank God, as I'm sitting with you, it will be the wrong for anybody to be an ex-convict or an ex-armed robber. because Baba Obasanjo has granted me a presidential when he was when he was the president.
Okay. So
And he gazetted it.
so far it is gazetted, it has
It has the
it has become a law.
stigma, the garment of prison, the castigation and condemnation and ostracizing.
Have all become past.
It is a past tense. So anybody that wants to talk and is making reference to ex-arm robber is a mistake.
It's a mistake.
Because God not only purified me spiritually,
Yes.
He has cleansed me physically.
And that's a double advantage. May that grace continue to be in your life in Jesus' name.
Amen, sir.
Now let's look at because we are still going to talk more about the positives. How can we force the system in Nigeria to rehabilitate completely?
It is not forcing, it's introducing a system. It's like we change. Okay, now it is not called. I'm not correct if I'm calling the prisons prison with you, because it's not a correctional center.
Yes.
It's an institution for correction now. So it is correctional service they are delivering. But where is it? Where is the evidence
Of that correctional service?
Because all they still want to show to the humanity and to the society is still this. It is the uniform of some of the officers, not the theory of training inmates in the prison, in the correctional institute. We must take you. I was listening to your intro.
Yes.
When I was in the car, and you are talking of convicts that are sitting
For example,
that's a good one. And that is one of the things I think the new interior is introducing, and he's trying to perfect it. He is trying to be very careful. But you don't need to go too far before you come. People that have been inside, who knows what is going on, you don't sidetrack some people. You may not like my language, but my message is important.
And that message goes further than the language.
That is what I'm saying.
Okay. I don't know if it is possible, because it is called correctional centers.
Yes.
I don't know whether it is possible for the operatives there to introduce handiwork.
They have handiwork, carpentry, tailoring, and mention any other type of handworks. Yeah. They normally do is this
Yes, sir. PG post.
Something like
yes, sir. Yes.
Is that we just do a carpentry workshop where 2 or 3 convicts out of 3,000 inmates will be doing carpentry work? We need an industry. We need to bring in most of these companies to support the procedure of training and rehabilitating.
You must have heard my intro in the car, because you have attested to it. When I made mention of Constantine Day, who discovered Mike Tyson. Tyson was fighting on the street over his bicycle. He beat up 3 other bigger boys, and he became and Constantine Diamato took him to his gym and started training him to become a boxer. And he said the courage he had to have beaten up those 3 FT boys will give him courage to fight anyone legally in the boxing ring and become champions. Today, Mike Tyson is still the youngest ever heavyweight boxer in history of boxing.
That is the best method of rehabilitation. The man did the greatest job in the life of Mike Tyson. Somebody who came from the prison and was properly, because the man took him in his car, as you said. I followed it. I thank God that I did not rush in, because you are giving me the insight to what I'm coming to face. So when you explain the relationship between Tyson and that wonderful man who decided to offer himself, not being afraid of the life of character, because if we are afraid of these people, now we are getting to the dangerous area. If we don't take time in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
How can we avoid that, sir?
That is why we need to quickly work out rehabilitation,
Now,
proper reformation. We went to England with Baba Tegbosho. I mentioned him because he has passion. And that is why we are celebrating him this time around. He has been working with me for 20 years.
even at his Baba's age.
At Baba's age, for Baba to travel to different parts of Nigeria, we moved to about 28 states on road by road.
In this country.
In this country. Just because he wants to know and feel part of what Baba is doing.
Okay, Bishop, allow me to delve into the telephones, because before you came, people already are eager to meet you, ask some questions, see for clarifications, get educated, because you are now a turnaround man of God.
By His grace.
By His grace. A bishop is not a small title in Christendom. So they want to call, they already the line is blinking. They want to call and ask questions. Probably someone will ask you to pray for them. They may ask you to pray for them. So be prepared to pray and to answer questions. 0803-437-9453, 0815-032-0226. This program can be seen and watched live on all our social media platforms. You can watch us on our Facebook page at ogoradio.com. You can watch us on our Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter handle. You can follow us on our X handle too. That's our X handle. You can listen to us live on Radio Garden. Just click on our bell button. Scroll down. You will find OGBC. Click on it. You listen to us live. And as we speak on our Facebook page, we are there live as I say. Let's start taking one or two calls. Then you respond. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Hello.
Thanks for calling this morning. Your name and where you are calling from.
Good morning, sir. My name is Ayela Bobo, and I'm calling from Atlanta. I want to look at the post time of the prison and then post-prison life. People used to run away from them, they don't interact with them, they castigate them, and they don't even give them help to them. I think something continues to have to be done to that. Because when somebody moves away from the prison and you are rehabilitated, you're supposed to be pertinent member of the society where there is no high blood will be raised for him. Then, secondly, sir, I want to talk about the fact that when you go to most of the places in Nigeria, that is why when anything happens, the prisoner will want to fly out or run away because of the percentage decision there. They were giving more and more food, but we had a lot of that they are not giving enough. I think secondary something continue have to be done.
Thank you very much, Alaji, for calling this morning. He said live after jail time. Do people really receive them? You are going to respond to all that, sir. Let's add this one. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, happy
Amen.
What to see or not in Jesus' name.
Amen.
I will tell your mind. Good morning again, sir. Happy Sunday to you too, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir. What can we do to enter? To know the depth of what do what I mean is that creation of law or what you share the Shuyano. What can we do sir, to erase this thing or to put it in the minimal stage for people to be going to this correction center? All the time, because the correction center has already full up. Load up.
Okay.
Sir, I'm glad to hear from you, sir.
Thank you so much, Alagbatayo. 0803-437-9453, 0815-032-0226. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Wole.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bishop Kayode, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
God bless you, sir. I just want to ask this. Where these terrorists, they never spend 20 years, 30 years. They spend maybe little or small years under the government over or something like that when they were probably taking or picked. and amnesty is granted. Rehabilitation is weakened, and yet they are thrown back to the society to continue with their terrorism activities and attacks. What is your take on this? Number one. Number two, sir. What must we do? You said something like we must make them to be fitted back or something like that. I mean, people in these regards where you have talked about, maybe they have committed one offense or probably one thing or the other. And then what does this translate to? That when they came back to self-repenting, they become harder and harder, and then they somehow they become so terrible in the society. What exactly can we to make sure that they come back to the main prison? Maybe change to correctional center. Why not reform center? If they are not doing the needful, I mean the prison wardens at all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kayode, for calling. This one is 003 437 9453. Hello. Hello, you are on, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Demola.
Yeah, my name is Demola. Morning, Pastor Williams.
You are
Sure.
welcome. You are welcome.
Good submission. Now my point of contention is
Okay.
in two different ways. Number one, most of our prisons are waiting higher criminals. Number two, of death warrant. Those are waiting terrors. What were a week ago? Our chief is in a land prison or somewhere. They can't even find this case file. They can't find this case file. What in the judiciary, what in the president, they can't find this case file. They can't find the person. And they say, there's no permit. Madam Askan, they said they should release them. So what can we do to pressurize the governors after the judges, the lawyers, they try their best and want to get everything straight? Give him death warrant, give him death penalty, and at the end of the day, don't death convict and jail in prison. Then I've seen people in prison, they are not reporting anything to say the simple truth.
Okay.
They are not reporting anything. I've seen people that are in prison and say they are bad, they are still going to prison. Their normal way. And even worse. And why inside prison as well? Due to collaboration with some bad elements in the prison yard, they plant symbols even outside society. How manage smuggling of Indian hemp, smuggling of bad drugs into the prison? How do we prevent this? We avoid it because we can't they can't get just to reduce something like.
Okay.
So what efforts will you people make to make sure that they do it? Governors send death warrants. Then this one waiting trial, they give them speedy trials and let them go. And then they do the necessary reforms. And the government really sponsors, are they really feeding these people? Are they spending the right money there to feed them? Are they not changing them? Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
On this. After jail term of inmates, and they said most of the prisons in Nigeria are in bad shape with terrible welfare package. Your reaction, sir?
Yes. Life after imprisonment is the most difficult life to live, because if you have nowhere to go, that is why I said the prison order as per United Nations minimum standard is to be led by the prison 4 R's: reformation, rehabilitation, reintegration, and resettlement. So because somebody who has been duly punished for wrongdoing and to 20 years, 25 years in the lifespan of a man, and he's coming out and he has nowhere to go to. So definitely, number one place that he would like to go to is the old friends who will give him something to eat. And that will also lead him back into crime. So that is why I said we have not, and number one in the prison itself, there's no, it's not that the prison, the correctional officers don't want to do, but I don't know what is wrong with their budgeting. And I don't believe they needed they needed ideas that can improve the standard and to open windows in collaborating with other international organizations, then companies in Nigeria, and then prisons that are well organized, like Scandinavian countries. Prisoners are coming out of Scandinavians now because they are giving them the 4 prison hours. And most of the prisons in Scandinavian countries now are being closed down. They are turning it into a company because they don't have more inmates. In fact, from other countries, they are exporting prisoners for them to help them. So if we can just sit down together, look for a great think tank man from the media, from the federal government, from the state government, some of the ex-inmates, sit down.
Do the restructuring.
The restructuring must be realistic.
Okay. And like Taiwo, what can we do to reduce?
Maybe he mentioned something again.
Well, he said we have explained it about the welfare package, which you have spoken about. You have spoken about the welfare package about 3 times. He has just mentioned a region of the world. He says Scandinavian countries. They are Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and Finland.
Exactly.
They are the 4 countries in Scandinavia. So that those who are listening to us, they know what you are referring to. Now, let's look at what can we do to reduce idleness in our correctional centers. You have mentioned doing handiwork, but how effective are these handiworks in the prison? That is what you have explained earlier. So let's go to Kayode, who said,
"No, that handiwork
yes,
it's not the right way.
It's not the right way
because if you have, like in Abeokuta now, yes, if you look at the lockup of Ibarra prison, it's alarming. And how many work are they doing? What are the works that is on ground? So when we talk of work, like I always say, they must also bring in. There must be a collaborative and cooperative efforts
from stakeholders
worldwide. Okay. You don't treat inmates just
like that
in isolation.
Okay. I am going to ask you one genuine question after this call because we're on for some time. Just one minute, sir. Quickly. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Kayode.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And good morning to my guest, Mr. Williams.
You are blessed, sir.
It's a pleasure having you on this program. We will place our people to talk like this. Firstly, I don't think the place as a place of information at all. Like you said again, there's this smoke marijuana there. Should that happen? And secondly, we've got a team somewhere, I don't want to mention that place. Even the people who are saying you want and want to put them, he says that people there have been there one. We are enjoying here. I will take the 3 square place there and I take whatever I want. Look at that. So it's not a place of information. So on this issue, generally, that we are discussing this morning. Firstly, we need to conduct our prisons in Nigeria. So therefore, how do we do this? We need to control our population in this country. Because there is population especially in this country. In the situation where a man will marry 5, 6, 7 wives and will start rearing children like this every year. And these children will not be trained. They will not go to school. They will not learn any trade. Therefore, these children will eventually become criminals in future. To be precise, they will become potential boys. So there is need to legislate against this disposition in this country. It is being done in China. Why can't we do it here? If we don't do it, these children will become prisoners. And we shall be using our commonwealth, that is government money, to feed them. Secondly, sir, if you want me to reign in this country, we need to bring back the national system. Hardened criminals that have been condemned to death should be killed instead of keeping them in prison for years.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, somebody will come and release them into the society again. They will say they are pardoned. I mean, this will not help us in this country.
Okay.
So in order to help this country on this issue, sir, let the Nazi
Okay, I want to thank you so much, sir. I want to thank you because you have we gave you a minute, and this is 2.5 minutes. So thank you very much for your time with us this morning. Don't worry, we will continue some other time because of our time. You have to wrap up the program now. He has spoken very well. You know, there are two sides to a coin. He has seen it from one side. You have seen it from another side. But part of it is what Kayode is raising here, saying that terrorists don't spend more time, more years in prison before they were given amnesty and rehabilitation and granted by government, and then they are back into society and they are committing more crime. Well, do you have any?
That one is another serious method of treating crime. Criminal justice system has a laid down principle.
Do we follow it?
Because what he's talking about is about terrorists
Yes.
that are handled by the military. And the military are telling us that they are radicalizing them or something like that. They will say they are trying to change their psychological method of thinking. I don't know what I don't know the theory they are propounding, which I cannot argue with them. And we cannot say because they said that they are right. Because if you treat some part of the country with levity and contempt, somebody who killed people, and you just say for 3 months, 4 months, you have I don't. They use one language. I don't know how they call it, but I am trying to say it should be looked into properly. Not only looking at it, we must not treat criminals with kid
Gloves.
Somebody again said they must be condemned and sentenced to death and be killed. You don't do that to human. Because if today Kayode Williams, has been killed, what God is doing in my life. So you must give an opportunity for change by making sure that they are well reformed. If somebody is reformed, mentored and monitored, he will be useful to the society. I know so many of them that Sulaiman Ibilolu today is a lawyer. He came out from Ibarra prison here. We got him. He passed his WAEC. He did his job. He did everything, and he got his LLB, and he went to finally, and he's doing his law work now.
He's practicing now.
He's practicing. Besides him, we have Kayode that I want to tell you some of these. These are people that were sentenced to death and condemned. We have Kayode Dada, this same Ibarra. I'm not even talking about other prison because all over the world, I know data that I have with me. But let us talk of reforming in Nigeria. They were not reformed by the prisons, but they have the opportunity of meeting people like Baba Obadira who went inside with me to go and pay for them. And at some time, Kayode Dada passed his papers too. And he wanted to go for medicine, Unilag. The Unilag rejected him. Baba Feborola came in and they take him back. But they said he cannot study medicine because in their ethic of professionalism, they don't believe that somebody who has been convicted should be a medical doctor. So they gave him another course. Today, he has his master's, but unfortunately, we lost him.
Yeah. It's normal for people to come and go, but he has left a footprint.
It's changed.
Yeah.
He was even employed by Backup University. That's what I'm talking about, rehabilitation.
Yes.
Backup University employed him as a lecturer.
And he was lecturing there.
That is where he died.
Okay.
So I think we should.
Well, I've got to allow you to go this morning because of our time. We have spent 57 minutes. 57 quality minutes. Quality 57 minutes talking about prison reformation and rehabilitation in Nigeria. Not all that goes to prison are bad. That is the picture of what you have seen today. There are still some good ones that can be used to the society. So, and to the members of the public, when they come back, embrace them and mentor them and rehabilitate them and bring them back into the fold. That's the program today. I want to thank you so much, Bishop Kayode Solomon Olumuyiwa Williams. He's a cleric and a prison reform activist who has done so much in transforming lives positively from negativity. I am produced by Benga Oshidele, ably assisted by Wahid Ogunjobi and Biodun Ogundipe. Temitope Babalola has been the announcer on duty. Adetope Adebohun has been the man pressing the right buttons. And my Adedoyin has been the man behind our social media platforms, making sure we appear on all of them. My name is Wole Otayemi in 7 days. Have a wonderful Sunday.